Ayan, so good evening. I think it's going to be evening when you see this. So good evening to our dear students of LPU and our financial management class. So my name is Dr. George. It doesn't show here, George or George if you want. Uh, I'm going to be your teacher in banking, all right? So this should be running for 3 hours, but I understand that it's going to be tedious on your part and on my part if I go like this for 17, I think it's going to be 17 or 18 consecutive days, working day, doing 3 hour thing. So what we will be doing for all of you out there is I'm going to watch, the lessons from this video, from this channel. So if most of you I know, no, but there are some of you who don't know me yet. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe. No? So it's easier for you to find it. And maraming lesson dito about business per se. There's a lot of things that we talk about here. And now, of course, our topic will be about banking. So, yeah. So what we will be doing is every day we'll have maybe an hour. Most is about an hour and a half, but that will be all of it. And then you will have a short, thing to do. It's probably is going to take about half hour again, also or an hour. And then plus everyday quiz. Yung quiz natin online naman so through Canvas. And so it's easier, I think, if it's like that. So ako suggestion ko, guys, no, we're just 9. I mean, there's just 9 of you. Suggestion ko is for you to do it immediately. I mean, don't wait until, all these things pile up. Saka kayo gagawa. Mahirap kasi yung gawin yun like that. No? So every day, parang fresh pa, gawa na kayo ng kailangan gawin. No? And then eventually, pasa lang sa Canvas, you get your grades, tapos short quiz, tapos next day ulit. Diba? So, it accumulates like that. Wag yung, pwede din naman, no? You listen to it, don't take the exam, tapos gawin nyo siya lahat sa weekend. Pwede naman, but if you do that, it will accumulate Tatama rin ka, saka imagine you have 17 or 18 things to do in one sitting. That's going to be hilariously difficult, all right? So, yun. So, excuse me. So, yun. Well, I'm here in a room where I'm just alone, so I'm not wearing mask. So, kumusta kayong lahat? No? I know that this is a tutorial and that is why we're just a few of us, right? Pero I still welcome you to the class. Banking is close to my heart because it was my first job. Yan ang unang-una kong naging trabaho when I graduated in college sometime in the past. Too far away to remember. So yun, no? So naging akong banker. Marami akong mai-share sa inyo na kwento about banking. Banking is a lucrative career. I mean, especially during my time. Ngayon, some of my colleagues, makwento ko rin sa inyo yan sa mga susunod na mga araw, they are saying na mahirap na ngayon, it's difficult, the competition is really high. And that is why as an officer, as a manager, no, kasi ganyan na yung level namin siyempre nung mga kasamahan ko dati. Most of them are managers already of their branches. Mas mahirap ngayon maging manager ng banks kasi ang dami mong competitor at the same time, ang dami mong pinabantayan, no? Unlike during our time, no? Abutan ko pa yung last time na nag-manual ang bangko. Mang-manual, ibig sabihin hindi pa siya fully computerized. No? And then abutan ko rin yung Y2K, yung 1999, na mag-shift ng year to 2000. And we were the first ones dati, no? Prudential Bank ako, no? Prudential Bank for 10 years. And then eventually kinain siya ng BPI. So usually ngayon BPI na yan, no? But ang bangko is the first sector, first industry who that trusted me, no, as a young graduate dati. Ang mga financial management, pwede kayo sa bangko, no? Although, I must warn you that it's a bit tedious na ngayon, no? During my time, ang umuuwi ng gabi noon ay ang mga nasa accounting, which is kami yun, no? Hindi ako accounting graduate, BS Math ako, but eventually I was the only one who wanted to be promoted as an accountant. Kahit di ako CPA. Kasi talagang mahirap magbalanse ng transactions sa bangko. Lalo before, no? Kasi hindi naman siya computerized. So talagang lumang model na talagang nagbabalanse ka. No? But, so naabutan ko yon time na yon, no, na mahirap. Dati ang hindi lang umuwi ng maaga dati yung nasa accounting, particularly the accountant. No? Lahat sila diyan, no? Karamihan ng mga kapisina ko noon, they can easily, they can go home as early as 4:30. 4:30 ata yung sarado ng bank. So 5, I would say. And samantalang abutin kami pinaka-early 7:30. May abutin ng 9, ganyan. Pero according to some of my friends, ngayon even ang mga teller hindi nakakauwi ng maaga. Kasi the reason is hanggang hindi balanse, hindi sila uuwi. Kasi ngayon, merong mga, di ba? May mga interbranches na kailangan pumasok at magbalanse. Lahat ng branches must balance bago kayo makauwi. Di ba? Tapos, ang treatment pa ngayon, ito matitake up natin sa mga susunod na araw. No? Ang treatment pa ngayon ng cheque, di ba? When you issue a check, ang issue mong cheque, dapat may pondo na yan right then and there. During my time, tinatawag pa sa yan. Mr. So-and-so, nag-issue po kayo ng cheque na ganito, walang pondo. Pondohan niyo po. Ngayon, hindi na pinabalik. Binabalik na yan. Kasi dated yesterday yan eh. So, nag-issue ka ngayon, no? Akala mo bukas magpupondohan. Hindi. Dapat, the time na in-issue mo, meron na yan. Kasi darating yun sa kanya, dineposit na rin niya ngayon, no? Pagdating sa kanyang branch, ang date nun, hindi date bukas, kundi ngayon. So, dated yesterday. So, parang as good as cash talaga yun, no? Kaya wala na yung meaning yung nagko-cross-check ka pa eh. Hindi mo pwedeng i-encash. Pero ganun din, i-deposit mo is still as good as cash. Kailangan mo lang i-deposit because, para lang magkaroon ng record na tatakan yan. So, ngayon, lumalabas, it's more tedious. No? And some would say it's more difficult now. Considering yung payout ay hindi ganun tumaas ever since my time. Anyway, maraming kwenta pang involved dyan. Okay, so yung class natin today, welcome again, will be held, over StreamYard in YouTube. And you will see this link and then you will be able to view this. And I think right now you're viewing it. And please do, number 1, ang dapat nating rule dito, dapat nagko-comment kayo. Ang comment nyo, hindi yung pangalan nyo. Kung may nag-comment ng pangalan dyan, pwede naman mag-comment ng pangalan, pero dapat mayroong real questions. Kasi ang pangit na nagko-comment kayo doon, hello Dr. George or hello Professor George, that's it. Wala man lang komento kung anong ibig sabihin ng, dapat mag-ano kayo ng real questions, okay? So yun ang rule natin. Ha? Sa lahat ng sinasabi natin dito, dapat meron kayong questions dyan. Naglalagay kayo sa comment. Sinusulat niyo yung questions niyo. Para sa susunod na araw, yan yung ating take up. So, ang topic natin ngayon is about, it's a brief introduction, which I already said, and a brief history of banks. Okay? Ang brief introduction ko sa inyo is, of course, yung aking naging stint sa bangko, which is 10 years. Nagsimula ako as clearing clerk. No? Clearing clerk, yung nag-handle ng clearing checks. No, na pumupunta sa Philippine Clearing House Corporation. Nagpapalitan kasi ang mga bangko ng cheque, no? Maintindihan natin yan as we proceed, yung procedures ng banks. Yun, no? By the way, you don't call it bank, you call it banks. Lalo na pag ang kausap nyo ay mga taga-US, no? Kasi when you say bank, yan yung river bank. Okay? Iba ang banks, no? So we go to the bank. Yan. So bank or banks has been, have been around for a long, long time, no? Ever since yung time pa ng mga ancient times, no? Pero ibalik natin yung introduction ko sa sarili ko, no? I'm Dr. George, as I said, fellow LPU Batangas din, no? Kasi dyan ako nag-masters, dyan din ako nag-PhD. But prior to that, bago ko napunta sa industry ng education, I was with the banking sector for 10 years, no? In yung first job ko when I was 19 years old. I graduated at 19. Started in the bank and then rose from the ranks. As I said, naging muna akong clearing clerk. Napunta ako sa accounting, na iwan na sa office kasi malabas lagi ang clearing clerk kung pupunta sa central bank, no? Napunta na sa office, okay, napag-aralan ko lahat halos nung nasa office. Marunong akong gumawa ng compute ng time deposit. Hindi yung nako-computerize, yung manual na kino-compute. Paano mag-compute ng interest, paano mag-issue ng TD certificate, special savings, foreign currency denomination. Okay, marunong akong maglista sa subsidiary ledger, general ledger. Lahat ng ginagawa ng accountant, subsidiary ako dahil ako yung assistant ng accountant muna, no? And then eventually I became an accountant. Ako na yung nagbabalanse, gumagawa ng financial statements. Even though I was not, I did not take up accounting. Hindi rin ako CPA, of course, no? Tinuruan ako ng paggawa ng financial condition, statement of financial condition. Ang tawag niya, statement of condition ng bangko. And, I was taught by our accountant during that time. And for only 30 minutes, no? Sorry about that, no? Ayan na pumasok. So, for 30 minutes lang. And then eventually, ang nangyari sa akin doon ay pinag-aralan ko na siya, no? So, kumbaga, kahit kayo ay hindi accountant, kahit hindi kayo accountant, you can always, understand the way financial conditions is done. Kasi nga sa akin, tinuro lang yan 30 minutes. Ang sabi lang niya, lahat ng debit, dapat may katapat kang credit sa kabila. So, doon nagsimula yun na, ganun lang pala yan. And then, eventually, the very next day, kasi dati manual pa eh. Nilalagay mo yan sa typewriter, no? Naabutan ko pa yung time na nagta-typewriter. Kasi malaki ang printing, ang paper ng statement of condition, malaki. Hindi yan kasi sa printer, ordinary printer. So ang ginawa ko noon, gumawa ako ng way para makapag-print ako using yung tinitiklop-tiklop na statement of condition. So ginamit ko yung form ng bank ng central bank at ginawa ko siyang trial and error hanggang sa makakuha ko yung saktong patak doon sa printer. And then eventually, so what I'm doing is every day, pinapalitan ko lang yung mga key, data. And eventually, mabilis gumawa ng statement of condition. So since marunong akong gumawa nun and kaya ko siyang gawin ng mabilis, wala silang choice kundi akong gawing accountant eh. So, and then karamihan ng mga kaibigan ko noon, ng mga taga-bangko, if they will watch this, they will I'm sure they will agree. Hindi nila pinag-aralan yung mga nasa banking, yung lahat ng procedure. Ako yung nakakaalam lang ng lahat ng yon. Kasi nga ako yung umiikot, no. So, maaga akong pumapasok. Pagpasok ko niyan, kasi malapit ko lang San Juan ako San Juan Metro Manila. And then just a jeepney ride away. And easily 15 minutes pag maalis kang maaga. Alas 6 pa lang. Ever since kasi time ng UST days ko, maalis ako ng bahay, 5:30, 5:45. So, nung nasa bangko ako, ganoon din ang alis ko. 6 o'clock pinaka-latest. So, parating na 6:30, nasa bangko na kagad ako. Nung time na yon, hindi pa uso yung nakasara yung bangko. Merong sa stay-in na gwardiya ron. So, parating ko sa bangko, kape lang, tapos gawa na yan, trabaho na yan. Bago magbukas ang bangko, 7:30 pa lang, 8 o'clock, tapos na ako. Nagbubukas ang bangko ng 9 o'clock, wala na akong ginagawa. Kasi lahat ng gagawin ko for the day, nagawa ko na eh. So what do I do? Siyempre, payosi-yosi ka sa labas minsan. Tapos, ang ginagawa ko, pinag-aaralan, wala akong choice eh. Kasi ilan lang kayong lalaki. So lahat kayo pinagagawa nung boss. O tulungan mo si ganito, tulungan mo si ganyan. So tumutulong ka ngayon sa mga kaopisina mo, no? Ngayon, ang nangyayari, natututunan ko ngayon ang lahat ng trabaho nila. So, doon natutunan ko siyang alamin lahat. So, naging akong valuable team member ng bangko. So, there came a time na talagang hindi na nila maiisip na hindi ikaw yung gawing officer accountant. So, I became an accountant after, I would say, ano ba, 5 years ba? Nakalimutan ko na, but madali ako naging officer eh. I was promoted 6 times in 3 years. Oo, ganun kabilis. Kasi nga, as I said, pinag-aralan mo kasi yung mga yung mga trabaho. Yan ang mahalaga ng pinag-aralan mo maigi yung trabaho mo. Okay, so yun yung my brief stint in the bank. I never became assistant manager. Nahawakan ko yung vault kasi ako yung katapatan nung may hawak ng vault, no. Dalawa kami nagbubukas eh. Ako yung outer vault, siya yung inner vault, no. Ganun yun sa bangko usually, no. Hindi ko nahawakan ng cash. Hindi rin ako nakapag-manager, no. Yun na lang yung dalawang step na hindi ko nakuha. But ang accountant kasi is like in the branch dati, no? Yan yung third highest officer. And I left the bank when I was 28 ata or something. No? Parang ganun, 27. Kasi yun yung time naman na gusto kong pumunta sa ibang bansa. No? Gusto kong mag-Canada noong time na yun. Eh. Long story short, sinabihan ako nung consultant, no, sa pagpunta sa ibang bansa sa Canada. Yung points ko kulang kasi BS Math ka, bakit nasa bangko ka? Kailangan accountant yan. So kung ganyan, dapat financial manager ang dating mo. So hindi ko naman po pwedeng palitan yung position ko sa HR dahil hindi man ako taga-HR, di ba? So what did I do? Ano po ang pwede kong gawin? So, kailangan ng pwede mong kung BS Math ka. Pwede ka maging analyst sa mga corporate accounts, no? Or, pwede ka rin naman magturo. So, sabi ko, magtuturo na nga lang ako. Hindi nalalang ko pa magtuturo. Ano nga lang ako, merong high school dun sa amin. So, when I resigned sa bangko, took a 50% dive in my salary during that time. Tapos nag-business na lang ako sa may Santa Rosa. May bahay na rin ako noong time sa Santa Rosa. So may malapit sa EK. No? Tapos may computer shop, mga hiraman ng mga beaches, yan. Tapos natuturo ako, high school student. Napamahal na sa akin yung pagtuturo, no? Lingid sa inyong kaalaman. Okay. Iba kasi ang feels ng high school, no? Parang they are hanging on to every word you say, no? And so I became their friend, their older brother, their uncle, their father, their lolo at times, no, nung tumanda na ako. And so yun na, napunta na ako sa sa education. Doon na rin ako nag-masters sa Rizal, and then eventually napunta ako sa LPU, naikot ko na rin lahat sa LPU, no. Eventually naging dean, nag-doctor, no. So nawala na ako sa bangko. But ako I consider yung 10 years sa bangko as one of the greatest, most productive times of my life. Kasi everyday talagang iba-iba yung kliyente na makikita mo. And those are the things that I can share with you. Hindi man nagbago ng malaki ang bangko, no, ngayon. But I think yung similar pa rin is the fact that you are still going to connect with your clients. You're still going to talk to them and meet with them personally on a personal basis. Ako doon sa bangko namin before, no? Prudential Bank is such a personal family bank yan eh. We would talk to clients from the time that he came to the bank. I think a lot of banks naman in the past are like that. Kliyente namin, si The King, no? Si FPJ. And ang bait na tao niya, no? Pati si before, no? Sila ngayon senator, no, Grace po. What I remember about her, no, I don't know, syempre bata pa siya ng time na 'yon, no. About 20 years ago na ba yun? 30 years ago na eh. 1990s eh. Anyway, so when I remember her clearly because she is very kind, very humble. Nakikita ko siyang naghihintay dun sa may position ng mga clients. And usually, pag ikaw ay special client, ito yan po, natural, special client yan. So you would call people, ay ma'am, ba't ganito po kayo? Dito po kayo sa loob, no? Kasi syempre may ano yan, may pwede mong bigyan ng ofera ng tubig, kape, ganyan. And she was just there, very quiet and quietly waiting for her turn. Samantalang ibang, hindi naman malaki ang mga placement or whatever, they are sometimes sila pa yung mga hostile na mga kliyente, no. I saw a lot of types of people there, no. Meron masyadong mayabang, meron naman napaka-humble naman, no. Napakatipid, no. Papunta sa office, parang akala mo mahirap. Pag tingnan mo yung bank account niya, laki-laki ng laman. Doon may kita na, it's not who you think people are, but who they are, on their own person. So, yun ang naging stint ko sa bangko. And I realized a lot of things now, no? Kung knowing who I am now, halos lahat yun ay because of my training sa mga naging boss ko dyan, the way you handle people, the way you talk to your clients. May mga bagay na ituturo ko sa inyo. Para kayo magkakaroon ng training sa akin sa how do you do clienting, banking kasi procedural siya, but there are things aside from doing the procedures of the bank. It's about relationship, client relationship. Kasi lalo na ngayon, napakadaming bangko and there are so many banks around and kailangan mo talagang, to rise above the rest. Yun, no? Kaya yan ang importante. Okay, so much for the introduction. So those are the part of my introduction, how I, became a banker and went around really. Now, yung second part would be the brief history of the bank. So I'll share this screen. I think I'm sharing already the screen. Ito yung from a site that I saw, no? The history of banking as an institution. Right? So ito po yun, no? So history of banking, evolution of banking as an industry. Sabi nila dito, no? Banking is one of the oldest industries and started at around 2000 BC of the ancient world. Some people would put the start earlier pa nga, It started with merchants making grain loans to farmers and traders while carrying goods between cities, no? Ito yung time na nagsa-start pa lang, pag-start pa lang ng mercantilism, no? Wherein you have certain goods, itinda mo yun sa kabila, no? And then eventually yung mga merchants, sila yung naging sila yung naging very successful. So anong nangyari with them is eventually they accumulated a lot of money. And so, they were able to accumulate a lot of money, di ba? So, nagpapahiram sila ngayon, no? Ito yung magkikita yung mga merchant doon sa tinatawag na trivia. Kaya nga nauso yung, what's your trivia today? 3 roads, nagko-crossroads. Then, they would talk there. Then, alam mo, doon sa kailangan ng doon, ng cloth dyan or something. O kaya minsan, hindi sila sinasabi, pabili nga ng cloth mo. No, siyempre, hindi Tagalog. Would like to buy your cloth. Okay, I'll give you 2 pieces of silver, whatever. Okay, uwi na ako. And then ikaw naman pupunta sa kabila, ibibenta mo yung cloth for 5 silvers. Something like that. So because of the merchants' knowledge, information, they were able to accumulate a lot of things. No? And ngayon, siyempre, alam nga naman, dala-dala mo lagi ang benta mo, right? So ang ginagawa nila dyan, meron silang inassign na mga bankers, no, na naglalagay na matuwid, no, na naglalagay ng kanilang balanse ng kanilang accounts doon sa isang station or something. So yun yung simula ng banking. Okay? So if you have questions, please do so. So nagsimula yan, eto medyo controversial to guys, yung history ng banking. Started about 2000 BC in ancient world. Again, it could date far earlier. Yung nagka-carry daw yung mga goods, yung mga farmers and traders between the eras of Assyria and Babylonia. If you're familiar with kaso hindi naman yun ang topic natin, huwag na natin sabihin. Pero ito yan yung mga ancient yan, mga Sumerian tribes, mga Semitic tribes. Diyan nagsimula yung mga stories about the Sumerian text. Oo. Bakit natuto ang mga tao ng banking? May nagturo ba sa kanila? Some people would say an ancient civilization, there were extraterrestrials who came, taught mga ano yan, no? Mga ano daw, mga uh, astronauts, no? With high technology who came and taught us a lot of things. At isa sa mga tinuro ay ang banking. In fact, imagine mo, isipin, paano ka na-discover ang banking? May turo sa kanila, no? And then, yan, yung mga Code of Hammurabi, yung mga kings text, yung listahan ng mga kings. Basahin nyo, no? Sa mga, ano yan, no? Sa mga, Enuma Elish, yung mga ganyan. The Epic of Gilgamesh, yung mga creation stories ng mga Babylonian text. And then eventually, yung mga tinatawag na Anunnakis and mga planet Nibiru. Anyway, if you want those things, pwede niyong basahin yan. Medyo yung umpisa ng ano natin ng history is a bit hazy and a bit mysterious, lalo na diyan sa area ng Assyria and Babylonia, no? Yung Code of Hammurabi, biro mo 1772 BC, almost 2,000 years before Christ. Oldest deciphered writings of significant length. Mahaba siya. Marami siya doon nakasulat na about paano gagawin ng contract, yung mga terms and transaction, pati yung mga handling ng loans, paano mag-compute ng interest, mga guarantees. Imagine, 1700s. So some people would say, teka, you mean to say that, you are doubting that the people can do it? Basic tenet ng anthropology, they are the same humans as we are, no? They're also advanced. Mas tatalino pa yung mga tao doon kasi wala naman silang computer niya, natutunan nila yan. Some would doubt that and say, they can't do that. Maybe the aliens taught them how to do it. And, may binigyan sila ng push. But whoever taught them that, they learned it. And yan ang start ng ating banking. As I said, nag-move ka from place to place. Yan lang naman kunin mo lagi. Daldala mo yung mga mga coins mo, mga gold. Minsan dinadala nila, no? Kaya nga meron silang dyan, no? Meron silang mga nagga-guard sa kanila, no? Some would leave them wherever. Nakaiwan mga nasa sako, naiwan kung magpapagawa sila ng malaking structure. Minsan dinalagay nila sa ilalim ng lupa. Those stories, no? Sa Thousand Arabian Nights, makikita mo doon. Yung, di ba, yung si Open Sesame, si Aladdin, no? Aladdin. Si Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, di ba? Inilalagay niya sa isang magical cave, no? Or something, no? Nasa loob ng cave yung mga gold niya kasi nga ayaw niyang mananakaw. So, ganun din dito. Nagkaroon sila ng recording ng ikaw, no? Mr. So-and-so. Ito yung deposit mo, 35 silvers, 20 gold, ganyan. 50 or 500 coppers. Something like that. And then yun yung exchange, no? So yung recording na yon, those were the first bankers. Yan. So later on daw, no, in ancient Greece, di syempre sa Europe na to, no? Remember ang Mesopotamia, yan, Assyria, Babylonia, nasa may bandang Middle East yan, papuntang yung Israel yan, Egypt yan yung part na yan, no? Yung Greece naman, papupunta ka pa sa west, no? Okay? Isa sa mga great old civilizations, no? Aside from, syempre, yung Romans eventually defeated them, but aside from the Egyptian and the Babylonians, no? So yung ancient Greece and during the Roman Empire, yung mga lender, yung mga nagpapautang, based in temples, made loans and started accepting deposits. So sila na yung nag-accept ng mga deposits. Tapos yung mga banking activities in Greece are more varied and sophisticated than any previous society. So naging complicated na. Nag-take siya ng deposit, nakasulat yon, may mga kiluhan pa yan, no? Kasi even yung pagkakakilo ng gold versus silver, gaano kalaki yung gold versus silver. Tapos pag nag-issue ng bagong coin, for example, si King Darius ng Persia or si King Xerxes, ng Persia. Pag nakita nila, teka, iba na naman to. Tinan mo, kilo mo nga ulit yan or whatever. Tinan mo, okay, yung silver pala ni Darius mas malaki kaysa sa silver ni Xerxes. For example only, so mas mahal to. Ano kaya ang katapat nito sa grain of wheat? So tinitingnan nila, ang nagde-determine niyan, yung mga standards na yan, ang banker. And usually they have writing, no? They have an understanding of that standards. So naging ano to, no? Naging complicated na. They took deposits, they made loans, and yan, no? Change money from one currency to another. Yung sinasabi ko kasi bakit nag-change? Paano nila nagagamit yon? Nagagawa nila yon because they already know the weights. Ayan, no? They also tested coins for weight and for purity. Tapos nakakapagsulat na sila sa kanilang libro. May book transactions na. Ayan na ngayon yung mga debit credit, no? Nagkakaroon na ng debit credit. Pero ano pa lang to, umpisa pa lang to. Ito pa lang yung yung how much you own. Yan. Money lenders can be found who will accept payment in one Greek city and arrange for credit in another. So nagkakaroon ng arbitrage, no? Pagpapakudo sa kabila, tapos kukunin nila sa kabila yung bayad. So hindi na siya kailangan mag-transport ng large number of coins. Kumbaga, nagkakaroon ngayon mga banker ay parang nagiging branches na, no? Parang nila nalalaman yun kung para kanino yan. So yan ang ano niyan. Pila mo kung paano nila ginagawa yun. Okay? So banking in the modern sense of the word, hindi nagsimula ng time na yun, no? Can be traced only during the medieval and early Renaissance Italy. So pag sinabing medieval, ito yung time ng tinatawag na Dark Ages, no? Times ng mga Knight Templar, usually ang medieval age na nagsimula nung time na nakuha ang Jerusalem, no? Yung nakuha yung Jerusalem, tapos eventually nasak yung Constantinople, no? Nakuha ng mga Turks. Okay? So nag-fall ang mundo sa tinatawag na Dark Ages, yan, medieval times. Ngayon yung Renaissance, during the Renaissance period, ito yung time naman kung saan or kung kailan na-realize ng mga tao na kailangan nating i-relive yung time ng classical times. Okay? So yung classical times na yon nangyari during, syempre, no? Papalakihin ko lang. During the time of, nagsimula yan sa time ng Industrial Revolution. Nagkaroon na ng mga factories, marami na na-discover. Nagsimula talaga yung Industrial Revolution nung nasimula yung ni Gutenberg, yung kanyang printing press. And therefore, nagkaroon na ng time na susulat mo na lahat, nakasulat na, napiprint na. And therefore, people begin to read, alright? And then, mga experiments, kaya mo nang i-replicate, okay? Paano kung magluto ng tinapay, papadala mo lang yung ingredients, papakarating sa kabila, so marunong na rin sila. So, nag-improve maigi. And then, yung mga rich cities in the north, yan, Florence, Venice, Genoa, yan ang mga nagsimula ng banking, no, across Europe. Yan, sa Italy. Kaya yung mga Italians ang unang-una naging talagang rich bankers, no? Kaya kung ano nyo yung yung mga Medici, mga family ng Medici, and then eventually yung Rothschild, yan, banking yan, no? Sila ang nagfi-finance ng mga wars. Yung mga spoils of war, binabayad sa kanila. Tapos, eventually, sometimes nagkakagera because they are not able to pay. Yan ang mga problema nun. No? So, maraming mga innovations na nag-take place sa Amsterdam. Amsterdam is in Netherlands during the Dutch Republic. By the way, in Amsterdam is also the location of the first stock market. Diyan nagsimula ang stock market sa Amsterdam. So napaka-importante ito sa atin. Bakit ba nagkaroon ng ganun? Kasi maraming mga maraming mga project na kailangan i-finance. Pag wala nang pang-finance ang government, usually ang nagpi-finance niya ng mga rich merchants. And they need kasulatan, no? Usually nga bond yan, nakasulat sa bond paper, kaya nagiging siyang bond. At nakapirma doon, may tatak. So para mangyayari na ang nito will be will be collected by me pag ito nag-arrive na. Sometimes, syempre, it is also a flop. Minsan hindi na nakakabalik yung ships, no? Lalo na nauso yung mga galleon trade, no? Tapos niraransak ng mga pirate, ganyan. So, hindi na sila nakakabawi. Pero ang importante doon, the banker does the accounting of all those things. O, nagbigay sa inyo 500 gold galing kay Medici, 200 gold sa family na ganito, 100 gold sa family na ganito. So pag yan, nakakuha na sila ng mga tao, binayaran nila, di ba? Pagbalik ngayon ng mga yun, at kumita sila ng pera, babalik nila ngayon doon sa mga taong yun na nag-finance ng program yung kanilang pera. So yan na yung start ng corporation, start ng, di ba? Kasi publicly held yun, yung mga stock market. Yan na yun. Okay? And 16th century daw sa London and then 17th century. Some of the earlier systems that facilitated trading, exchange of goods, were barter. So alam niyo na ibig sabihin ng barter, no? Dati nung bata pa kami, tinuturo sa amin yung barter. Parang pinagtatawanan namin. Wow, ang ano naman, tawag ito, backward naman barter system. But come to think of it, barter is the only way to go during those times. I mean, wala namang money, wala pang nag-iimbentong money, di ba? So, talagang barter. So, you will give the cow, katapat ng cow, for example, ay, bari lang 5 sheep, for example. Or yung sheep, kasi may wool yun, isang sheep o 2 sheep is equivalent to, halimbawa, 20 pieces of lumber, something like that. So, barter system is the only way to go during that time. Wala kasing money. Hanggang sa na-invento na yung currency, since the time of the yung mga old kings and all that. And then, yun, naging staple muna ay ang silver, then eventually the gold. Kaya naman naging staple yun kasi sinusweldohan yung mga tao based on the coin, no? Ang tawag doon, denari. So, parang denarius, no? Which is sa Romans. So, one day is 1 denari, no? Diba? Eventually, 2 days, 2 denari. So, doon mo malalaman kung gaano kalaki yung yung binibigay sa iyo, 'di ba? Tapos may corresponding no? Computation. Ilang denari ang isang silver? Halimbawa, ang isang hindi ko alam hindi ko pa sinesearch, pwede niyo tingnan naman 'yan sa ancient times. Halimbawa, 40 silvers, 40 denaries ang 1 silver. So more or less, alam mo na ang 1 silver pala is 40 days of work. So, ikukumpara mo sa tunay na buhay ngayon, di kung magkano ang daily wage, multiplied by 40. If that's the way it is before. Compute nyo ngayon sa ounces of silver para malaman nyo, tama pa rin ba o hindi na. Ganon. So, when the silver is gone, when silver became obsolete, yung gold naman na naging staple. No? Of course, gold saka silver, merong may computation yan. Hindi nagiging staple ang diamond, no? Kasi masyadong rare. Watch what I said. No? I didn't say expensive. I said rare. Kasi nagiging siya expensive because it is rare. Ayan. So, ayan ang barter system. Meron din yung mga gift economy. A gift economy or gift culture is a society where valuable goods are regularly given without any explicit agreement or future rewards. So, merong mga informal customs rather than explicit exchange of goods for money or some other commodities. Gift economies were prevalent before the advent of market economies, pero nawala yan. Mga societies become more complex. Contrary to popular conception, there's no evidence that societies relied primarily on barter before using the money for trade. Instead, non-monetary societies operated largely along with the principles of gift economics and debt. So parang binibigay mo, no, as payment, whatever. Parang payment in kind, no? Parang ganyan. So banking in the 20th century, during the 20th century, the developments in telecommunication and computing resulting in major changes to the way banks operated and allowed them to dramatically increase in size and geographic spread. Late 2000, ito yung time pagkatas ng late 2000, no? Nakapag World Trade Center bombing na, and then eventually nagkaroon na ng financial crisis, no? So late 2000 yung financial crisis, nagkaroon ng significant number of bank failures. Totoo yan, no? May mga nagsara. And then even ang Bank of London lost billions of dollars sometimes in one night, no? Nangyari sa kanila yan. Pati yung mga world's largest banks. Okay, the following paragraph provides snapshot in development over the last century. So 1930s to 1960s, ano nangyari nun? First of all, nagkaroon ng crash yung 1929. So ano ba ang naging result niyan? So I will give you a video about this, yung Great Depression, what really happened, and maybe that will take a place of our lesson tomorrow. Kasi importante ito, mapanood nyo yung Great Depression. So nagsimula yan with nagkakaroon kasi ng margin, no? Sa US kasi ganito yan. Nakababasa mo nyo naman dyan eh. May mga margin requirements ng sometimes 10% lang. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Nagdeposito ka ng $1, kaya mo humiram ng $9. So anong nangyayari? Pag mataas na mataas ang yield, maganda yon kasi madali mo babayaran ang utang mo eh. 'Di ba? Kasi pataas ang pera. Pero ang problema niyan, pag biglang hindi ka na makabayad, katulad ng nangyari din sa housing crisis nung subprime housing crisis nung 2008, pag-aaralan din natin 'yan, no? Kasi sa banking 'yan. Tapos pag nangyari 'yon, siyempre magwi-withdraw yung mga tao en masse or yung nagkakaroon ng bank run. Nagkakaroon ng multiple bank runs. And eventually, nagsasara yung mga bangko. Yan, 1930s nangyari, 1929. So, tama-tama, noong 1930s, nagkaroon ng mga influx ng mga gangster, no? 1930s. Si Al Capone, nandiyan dyan, no? Tapos, early 1930s din, nagsimula na mag-move si Adolf Hitler sa Austria and then eventually sa Germany. Nag-rise to power. 1939, in-annex na niya yung Austria, and the rest is history, the start of the World War II. Yan ang nangyari nun. So, yung panic na 1929, during the first 10 months of 1930, yung 744 US banks daw failed. And then all in all, no, during the 1930s, about 9,000 banks failed, nagsara. Oo, ganun katindi. A lot of people committed suicide pa noong time na yun, no? Habang bumabagsak ang market, bumabagsak din sila sa mga building. The Depression is said to be one of the factors that led to World War II. Totoo naman yan, no? Yung Treaty of Versailles, isa sa mga kinaiinisan ng mga Germans. And the reason why it happened is because nagkaroon ng hyperinflation, talaga nalugmok ang bansa nila sa hirap. And most of the Germans are even, during those times, of course ngayon, it's water under the bridge na. But during those times, medyo sinisisi nila yung mga lenders who happen to be mostly mga Jewish. Kasi bawal silang magganon ng ibang trabaho kundi yan, no? I mean, merong rason yun kung ba't sila ang mga lenders. Yan. So pagtas noon, the Depression is said one of the factors that led to World War II, and then yung post-war recovery period, nagkaroon ngayon ng more active and larger role in banking, leading to increased regulation. Nagkaroon na ngayon ng increased regulation ng ating bangko, kasi kung hindi, magkagano na naman, no? Thus, in response, many countries significantly increased financial regulation and established regulatory agencies to oversee banking operations during the post-Second World War. So after nung post-Second World War, dalawa ang na-organization na na-create. Ang isa yung IMF, International Monetary Fund, and then yung isa ay ang World Bank. Okay? 1970s to 2000, yan, halos malapit na kayo ipanganak niyan, no? Noong 1970s to 2000, there were a number of small stock market crashes, no? 1970s. Hindi naman talaga sobrang crash, no? Nagkaroon ng bear market. Lalo na noong 1970s, nagsimula yan, may Yom Kippur War sa Israel, 6-day war, mga Arab. Tapos nangyari yung Munich, Germany, na nag-escalate ang Cold War, no? Tapos 1970s din, nagkaroon ng tawag nito, ng OPEC crisis. Yung mga oil petroleum exporting countries, mga taga Middle East yan, nag-create sila ng cartel. O lahat ng lalabas dito, tayo magbibigay ng presyo. So biglang nag-shoot up ang presyo ng gasoline, ng mga crude oil, hindi nakita ng US kagad yun. So nag-crash ang kanilang markets. 1980s, nagkaroon ng Big Bang in London, no? Allowing banks to access capital markets in new ways, which led to significant changes to the way banks operated and access capital. Although, marami ring issue ng 1980s, no? Yung November, I think nandito yun, 1987, nagkaroon ng Black Monday, yes. Which is even worse kung tutusin percent-wise nangyari noong 1930s. Yung period na to, 1970s to 2000, saw a significant internationalization of financial market. Yung mga American corporations kasi and banks started seeking investment opportunities abroad, prompting the development in the US of mutual funds. Yan, yung mutual funds, pag-usapan din natin yan sa future, funds held mutually by people of various denominations, various genders, siyempre, no, various places. Sometimes taga-ibang bansa pa yan, no? Kaya yun yung mutual funds. Tapos naka-trade pa sila especially sa foreign stock markets. Okay? So ano pa? Baka may tanong kayo dyan. Please write your questions. Pag hindi kayo nagtanong, ibig sabihin hindi kayo active. No? So wala kayong wala kayong grades maging active pag hindi kayo nagtanong. Growing internationalization changed the competitive landscape as how many banks would function as much as possible as a one-stop supplier of both retail and wholesale financial services. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Ang bangko kasi nagre-retail saka nag-wholesale din ng financial services. Alam ba yung bonds, no? Galing yung bonds sa mga money market placement na ang nagbebenta niya na yung bangko. Pag hinati-hati nila yan, tinitinda nila sa bangko yan. Ngayon ang bangko, minsan naging wholesale yun, nire-retail pa nila yon. Halimbawa, bibili sila ng 100 million worth of bonds from the government, treasury bonds. Tapos yung 100 million na yon, ibebenta nila yun ng 50,000. Nakuha nila yung treasury bond, for example, no, ng 5%. Tapos babayaran nila yung interest ng 1%. So kumitira sila ng 4%. So parang ganito, no? Kumuha ako ng treasury bond, no, or treasury bills sa government. Ang yield rate is kailangan magbayad ako ng 5% rate, no? Pag ito isang 100 million yun, so ang laki, no? Babayad ako ngayon ng 5% per year. So that's 5 million, no? Per year. Para hindi ako malugi, ang gagawin ko doon sa perang yun as banker, ipapahiram ko yun sa loans, sisingil ako ng malaki, no? Siyempre may collateral pa yun. Pwede ako maningin ng 12% to 13%. No? Depende sa going rate. So, di ba 100 million yun, no? Pwede akong mag-allocate ng 30 million na ipapahiram ko at that rate. Pwede rin akong mag-retail ng bonds. Ibebenta ko yung mga retail ng bonds na yun at a lower interest rate. So, kung 5%, ibebenta ko siya ng 4%. So, may kita na ako 1%. Yun ang mga pwedeng ginagawa ng bangko. O kaya nagpapaloan nga siya, no? Yan, tapos nauso na rin yung internet banking. Siyempre, 1990s na yan eh. Meron na tayong internet yan. Although wala dito yung 1990s, nung simula ng internet bubble, and eventually nag-crash. Yun ang nangyari nung late 90s. So beginning ng 21st century, yan yung mga decade na ng internet banking. Yung early 2000 was marked by the consolidation of existing banks and entrance into the market of other financial intermediaries. Yung mga non-bank financial institutions. Marami ganyan, no? Hindi bangko pero financial institution like credit card is an example, right? Insurance is an example. And sometimes ang mga pupunta sila sa mga market na yun. Large corporate players ventured into the financial service community. Mga mga VC. Yung mga parang gumagawa sila ng business, no, na sama-sama sila. Tapos nag-identify sila, no, ng pwede nilang pag-investan. And and then eventually dun sila kukuha ng pera, no? Eventually. Kasi nagpo-pool sila ng resources together. Pwede suportahan ng bangko 'yon, no? Okay? Ano pa? Yan, ito pala, nabanggit naman pala rito, no? Yung mga insurance, pension, no? Pension, mutual, money market, hedge funds. Hedge funds, kaya hedge funds kasi parang, yun nga, as I said, no? Pwedeng yung fund mo, ibibili mo ng malaking shares sa company, naging under mo na yon, no? Hedge funds. Pwede namang invest ka sa mga foreign companies o kaya even foreign currencies. So, parang nagagawa ka ng mutual fund, pero ito, ginagamit mo yung pera mo or pera ng mga kliyente mo para mas mag-yield sila ng mas malaking pera. Yan, pwedeng loan, pwedeng credit, pwedeng securities. Okay, the process of financial innovation advanced enormously in the first decade of the 21st century. And banks explore other profitable financial instruments. Siyempre, nag-diversify na nila. Tapos, nagbigay ito ng positive impact sa economic well-being or wellness ng banking industry. Yung decade na to, mark the beginning of an era with a distinction between different financial institutions. Banking and non-banking is gradually vanishing. Ayan na, nagkaroon na ng tatawag na e-banking. Ngayon, meron pang mga cryptocurrency. Okay, I'm sure you're aware of that. Noong late 2000 financial crisis, ito kompleto, no? Kasi doon lang siya natapos, no? Wala pa nga yung COVID-19 dito. Nagkaroon yung mga subprime mortgages. Meron din ako papapanood sa inyong video dyan about yung the why banks cannot fail. Ano ko rin sa inyo yun para mas maintindihan nyo yung topic na pinag-uusapan natin. Ano yung mga nangyari na nag-lead sa financial crisis ng 2007-2008? Nagsimula yan sa United States. Hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin yan nare-resolve because pataas lang ng pataas ang debt ceiling. Fiscal policy nila yan, monetary policy nila yan. But instead of solving the situation, pataas ng pataas ang debt, no? Yung banking industry was truly globalized at this point. Maraming players na yan all over the world. Tapos, ang top 50 corporations in the world are financial in nature. So they hold majority of the capital of the world, mga financial intermediaries. So late 2000, mga financial sector. Late 2000, financial crisis caused significant stress on banks around the world. The failure of a large number of major banks resulted in government bailouts. Yan ang nangyari doon, nagkaroon ng bailout. Kasi ang tawag nga nila is, they are too big to fail. Yan ang title nung sasabihin ko sa inyo, panoorin natin. Okay, nagkaroon ng terrorist attack kasi noong 2001, alam niyo naman yan, no? Iba sa inyo, hindi pa pinapanganak ata. Pinanganak na. Yung enormous impact niyan sa banking industry, marami nangyari for 10 years. The banks have been collecting vast amounts of data about customers, channels, financials, risk, and the availability of analytical technology. Yung mga tinatawag naman natin na small data mining o big data mining. Yan. Globalization of financial products and services continued in an unprecedented pace. Price drives were made for the financial inclusion of the unbanked, poor, and the marginalized people. Dito sa Philippines, marami pa rin ganyan, no? Yung urban versus rural, ang laki pa rin ng diversity. Tapos ang dami pa rin dati na walang bangko, poor, marginalized people. Yung industry witnessed the emergence of microfinance. Yan, yung mga microfinance, di ba? Even yung mga cooperative, ginagawa na nila ngayon to. Mga microfinancing, microloans, mobile money, yan na, mga mobile money, mga crypto, and other services geared to provide people in emerging and or impoverished economies with reliable and secure financial resources. Sa atin ngayon, halos ang bangko, hindi mo na napupuntahan. Meron ng GCash, Paymaya, di ba? Halos lahat, doon na ginagawa yung mga payment. Okay? Acts were enacted to ensure greater transparency and accountability. The advent of technology provided the operational flexibility that did not exist in 2001. Yan. Excuse me. Ayun. So, yun ang mga nangyari nung history ng banking. At least from the beginning, medyo binilisan lang natin. So, bigay ko rin kayo ng link siguro sa YouTube. Baka may mga maganda dyan na exercise na existing na mga videos din para mapanood nyo. So basta yun yung nangyari sa banking. Ngayon ang tanong is, sa tingin nyo, ano ang nangyari ngayon? No? What happened to the banking sector during the time of the pandemic? Okay, yung mga kasamahan ko sa bangko sa BPI, ganito ginagawa nila. Halimbawa, yung kaibigan ko sa sa may parian, sa Kalamba. Ano siya sila, pupunta sa isang branch na doon nila sinaserve yung clients nila from parian. So, ang parian sarado. So, nag-ooperate sila, pero may mga central offices lang, may grouping. So, halimbawa, okay, ang Makati, pasong pa mo, ganyan, whatever. Dito ang office, okay? Yung ibang branches, sarado. So, hindi dito lahat. So, kung kayo ay, I don't know, like, 20, yung total employees mo sa buong, group would total around, maybe 25, no? Ang kaya mo patakbuhin ng bangko with just 10 or even 7, di ba? Kasi, lalo sa BPI, your bank anywhere, di ba? So, yun yung nangyayari ngayon. But there are so many changes that are happening, especially during the time of the pandemic. And I think ang question would be, what do you think would happen, no? And what are the changes that should happen in the banking sector during the time of pandemic? So, huwag kayong magsasagot ng mga tungkol sa mga online banking dahil sinabi na natin yun. What else? What else would happen in the near future? What do you think will happen in the near future in banking? Ano yung mangyayari in the near future because of the pandemic, because of lack of mobility of people, increase in unemployment? What do you think will happen? So yan ang ating parting words for this time. So pag meron kayong question dyan, please leave a comment. No? Kailangan nyo mag-comment, guys. Kasi kung hindi, wala kayong activity. And so what will happen is, you will answer the question that I post. Tapos, very, very short quiz dito sa may pinag-usapan natin ngayon. And then, for tomorrow, I'll give you a topic to view, no, about the history of banking pa rin, and the history of yung depression, no, the depression of the 1930s. Okay, saka yung Too Big to Fail. Okay, so yung mga movies natin tomorrow. So bukas pala, puro kayong movies, no? Pero ibibigay ko na kagad yung link para sa umaga pala mapanood nyo na, para hindi naman kailangan sa gabi nyo papanoorin. But it will be up during the time of yung sa gabi. Tapos meron pa rin, no? Meron pa rin tayong konting live doon. Pero ano na lang, konti na lang. Maikli na lang kumbaga. Okay ba? So that's it. So if you have questions, please put it on the on the comment box, and please subscribe to this channel if you have not done so. Kung meron pa kayong question, as I said, put it in the comment box. Kung wala naman, say goodbye. Countdown muna.